Okay, meron tayong pre-interview responsibilities. Letter A, we are going to make a proper receipt from the apprehending officer of the following. Number 1 is certification if handcuffs or other instruments of restraint were used and the reason for use. So, kinakailangan nating malaman, magbibigay sila ng certification kung bakit gumamit ang isang pulis ng handcuff or ng instrument kasi nga may possibility ng bata ay nanlaban, gustong gustong tumakas for example. So kinakailangan gamitan kung ano ang rason kung bakit ginamitan ng any instrument. Okay, medical certificate of the child, of course kinakailangan ba makakapag nahuli mo ang isang bata is dalhin mo agad sa isang medical institution para ma-prove mo na wala kang ginawang masama sa kanya kasi baka magbigtian, sakta ng sarili sa loob ng WCPD. For example, so ikaw ang makakasuhan. Basis for determination of child's age, kung bakit kailangan mong malaman ang kanyang edad. So, weapons recovered from the child, if any, affidavit of apprehension. So, within 4 hours from arrest. So, ito yung dapat gawin ng isang police officer. So, letter C, provide area where the child can feel safe and secure while waiting for interview and responsible person. So, kinakailangan natin mag-designate ng isang safe and secure na area while the child is waiting for his or her interview and responsible persons. So, letter D, notify the responsible adults who should be present in the investigation immediately but not later than 8 hours from apprehension. Of course, kailangan na para mabilis agaran yung pag-usad ng isang kaso kasi minsan yung biktima ng isang CICL, pamilya ng biktima ng isang CICL is hindi makapaghintay. So, ang batas is nagbibigay ng isang importansya. For example, bibigay ng mga nagtatakda ng mga oras kung kailan at gagawin ang isang procedure sa isang CICL. Letter E, while waiting for the responsible adults, you can ask the child his or her real name, address, and age, of course, to determine kung saan siya nakatira, pangalan niya, ilang taon na siya. Kasi minsan ang bata hindi marunong magsinungaling, lalo na kapag sa harap ng isang otoridad. Letter F, you should not force the child to answer any other questions. Of course, kasi may karapatan ng bata na hindi magsalita, kahit naman yung sa regular proceedings, meron tayong sinasabi na anything you will say will be used against you in any court of law. So, kinakailangan ang tao hindi mo na magsasalita without the presence of a legal counsel. So, letter G, you should not make the child write or sign anything. Of course, kinakailangan hindi dapat sumulat ang isang bata o magpirma sa any kind of paper na pwedeng magdiin sa kanya o ano pa man dyan dahil ito ay inadmissible in the court. So, letter H, because the child has the right against self-incrimination and right to be presumed innocent. Of course, kung mapapansin nyo, parating nitong namimit sa lahat ng subject nyo na a suspect is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So, hindi mo dapat sabihin na ang taong yan ay kahit nakakita mo pang mamatay sa isang tao, makita na kriminal, unless hindi napapatunayan sa korte. Baka malay mo is ang nangyari is self-defense, for example. Self-incrimination, hindi po pwedeng yung ikaw mismo ang magtitistigo laban sa sarili mo. Kasi nga may karapatan ng tao na hindi po pwedeng ibunyag mo na ikaw yung halimbawa magtitistigo ka unless umamin siya while in the court proceedings with the presence of the lawyer. During interview responsibilities, ano naman yung mga responsibilities? Letter A, interview should be conducted in a separate interview room or a separate and secured space. Of course, binibigyan natin ng importansya, halaga yung bata para hindi matakot. Letter B, conducted in a child-friendly and non-intimidating manner. Of course, pag tinatanong mo siya, tanongin mo na maayos, hindi yung tinatakot mo siya. Kaya nga, yung mga kababaihan o ang WCPD officer is siya yung na-designate na magtanong sa bata o mag-alaga sa bata while the case is ongoing para maalaga ng kanyang karapatan. Child must be allowed to participate and express himself freely. Okay, may karapatan siyang magsabi ng katotohanan unless mayroong matanda o ano pa man dyan, lawyer. Allow the responsible person to actively assess and conducting the interview. Siyempre, dapat kung sino man yung umassist sa kanya, bigyan mo ng karapatan. But do not allow them to answer questions for the child or interfere unreasonably. Kasi nga, meron, mapansin nyo, yung may mga tao na sila yung sasagot dahil in behalf of the child, which is hindi akma, hindi tama. So, F, ensure that the child has enough privacy to avoid unnecessary interruptions, distractions, and or participation from non-parties that could humiliate or make the child uncomfortable. Hindi po pwede na tinatanong ang bata, for example, na nandun yung magulang ng biktima o yung mismong biktima. So, letter G, stay neutral when questioning and refrain from judging or lecturing. So, kinakailangan, hindi mo po pwedeng pangaralan yung bata. So, mag-neutral ka na hindi lalabas na mayroon kang kinakampihan. Kahit na may biktima pa dyan, hindi mo po pwedeng kampihan yung biktima. Dahil ang trabaho natin, trabaho ng isang police o ng isang officer assigned in this field, so, kinakailangan wala kang kinikilingan. Okay. Use simple, understandable language when interviewing the child and taking the child's statement, of course. Kung ano ang naiintindihan niyang lengguwahe, kung ano yung pananalita niya, so, dun dapat ka magsalita para maintindihan niya na maayos. Prepare a written statement of the child that reflects the child's language and not that used by the law enforcement officer. So, ang ginagawa minsan, kung hindi siya capable o hindi siya literate sa pagsasalita ng lengguwaheng English, for example, o lengguwahe ng Tagalog, o ano pa man dyan, so isulat mo ang kanyang lengguwahe, kung ano ang sinasabi niya, then i-translate mo lang sa English para maintindihan. Okay, mayroon tayong reminder. Always keep in mind the constitutional rights of the child. Of course, every person has the right to be equally protected by the law. So yan, presume of innocence and right versus incrimination. So, letter A, a child has the right to terminate the interview anytime. Oh, ang bata kapag ayaw na niya, hindi na kaya na ano na siya, na tawag dito, hindi, parang hindi na siya safe, hindi na niya alam yung sabi niya, so mayroon siyang karapatan na sabihin, hindi ko na po kaya, tama na. If you sense the child no longer wishes to answer, you may need to ask him or her if she wants to continue with the interview. Tanungin natin siya kung pagpapatuloy ba natin to, kaya mo pa ba? So, para mahalaga natin yung bata. Okay, avoid threats, promises, or inducement to influence the child to answer question. For example, nasabi mo na tinatakot mo siya, pag hindi mo to sinagot, makukulong ka, mamamatay ka, o halimbawa ganun. O kaya promises, sabihin mo na papakainin ka namin ng maayos, bibigyan kami ng laruan, o yung anything na po pwedeng mag-induce sa bata para sumagot ng baka hindi naayon sa kanyang puso. Okay. After interview, ensure that all statements, signed or thumb marked by the child during investigation are witnessed by the responsible adults. Okay. In particular, parents or guardians or SWD or if not present, any other social worker or counsel in attendance. Ang kahirapan sa board exam, kung mapapansin nyo, ang daming dapat mong isaulo. Kung sino-sino yung mga sa CICL, kung sino-sino yung mga present after interview. Ito, tatanungin sa inyo, after interview of the child and conflict of the law, ito, anong mga ginagawa? So, may mga choices. O, ito, tanundaan ito, responsible person will also sign in the statement. Okay, after taking the statement of the child above 15 but below 18 years, refer the records of the child to LSWD for assessment of discernment para malaman natin kung ang bata ba ay nasa hustong pag-iisip o alam niya yung ginagawa niya. Okay, letter A, written statement, other pertinent records, example documents as basis of age. Okay, letter C, medical report if available, all other records that may assess the LSWD in making the assessment. So, ang LSWD ang magdedetermine kung ang bata ba ay ginawa ang isang krimen, criminally liable, based on discernment. Okay, so